Boleh nampak screen kah?
Boleh.
Okey.
Pergi yang bahagian itu.
Mana?
Next. Next. Next just ACARS. A-C-A-R-S.
You don't know when we stop. Right, Ryan?
Okay.
Sini. ACARS. Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Okay, I continue for the data communication. Okay, first of all, good afternoon to Mr. V and my fellow friends. Okay, in most modern aircraft installed, ACARS stands for Aircraft Communication Reporting System, which is responsible for receiving and transmitting data from the aircraft. ACARS provide a digital data link for the aircraft. This is used to send specific information to different stations on the ground. Next. The ACARS sends or receives data from the air traffic control or ATC for controlling a particular airspace. It will also send information to the airline operation control and management of the aircraft to ensure smooth operation of all the aircraft. The ACARS send data such as aircraft system status or any failures that occurs and related information. Okay, next. Okay, in the crew can manage and monitor the data that is sent on the ACARS with the control display unit or CDU. So the CDU access to the information and transmit information. That is all for communication.
Any question?
Hi, I have a question.
Okay.
What's the difference between ATC and airline separation control? I mean, are they receiving some information from the flights and doing the same task or how?
Sorry, tidak jelas. Sorry.
Oh, okay. Ryan, can you put the previous slide? Thank you. What's the difference between the air traffic control and also the airline separation control? Are they receiving the same data such as the aircraft position and system status and any failures? Are they receiving the same data from the aircraft during flight?
I think they have the same information such as the aircraft positions and the weather or any failure from the aircraft.
Okay, thank you.
Any more question? Cepat.
No question from me.
Sure, no question. Okay. This question, I'll ask everybody except Evelyn. Where is the VHF antenna? Ryan, Hafidah, Azrul, Shahidah. Where is the VHF antenna or HF antenna? No reply. Listening or not? Can you hear or not?
Can sir. For the VHF antenna, usually they will put at the bottom or top of the fuselage because it requires better reach, right? So they need to put it in the most strategic place, I think.
So where is it?
Oh,
Bottom
top or
or
bottom
top?
of the fuselage. Top of the fuselage. Top or bottom, top or bottom.
Shahidah, where is the HF antenna?
I think at the top or at the bottom of the aircraft.
Are you sure?
Mm,
So Evelyn, where is it? Where is the VHF antenna? Where is the HF antenna?
Sorry, I didn't include the position of the antenna, but VHF one antenna is on the upper fuselage.
One.
Yeah.
Okay. There is VHF 1 or VHF 2?
Usually,
Right.
there are VHF 1, VHF.
Yeah. So different VHF got different antenna. Number 1 got its antenna, number 2 got its antenna. Where is it? So
Also,
okay. For you guys, whatever mentioned, you have to show a bit of what the item is. That is for the benefit of everybody. Right? I know what its antenna look like. Do you guys know?
No, sir.
Right?
No, sir.
Yeah. So where is location also? If you go to aircraft, or which one is the antenna? Normally what it looks like. Also HF. Okay. HF is very dangerous. So normally on ground, there's a lot of warning before you can operate HF on ground. So Evelyn, try to add in your slide where is the antenna location.
okay, sir.
And also the HF and what are the precautions for the HF operation on ground. Okay, so
Okay, sir.
I expect you guys to show simple one. What is the location? What is the item? And how is it function? Okay. Next one will be Hafidah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, you're ready, kan?
Yes, sir.
Proceed.
Okay, so everyone can see my slides.
yes.
Yes.
Alright. Okay, so without further ado, let's start with the basic airplane hydraulic system. So first of all, what I'm going to touch in this presentation today, I'm going to explain a bit about the main role, the components involved how is it functioning, and what is the working principle of hydraulic system and plants. And lastly, I will touch about the pros and contra of hydraulic system. Okay, so let's proceed with the first one. The manual of hydraulic system. Usually, aircraft will have one or two or more hydraulic system which provide pressure to activate thrust reversers, wheel brakes, sluts and flaps, landing gears, wheel steering nose, spoilers in heavy aircraft and also the propellers, as well as the windshield wipers. But the function of the hydraulic system will be depending on types of aircraft, because for smaller aircraft, the features will be lesser than the larger aircraft. Okay, for example, the spoilers, it says the spoilers, the hydraulic system will activate the spoilers in heavy aircraft. Okay, so let's proceed. For the source of power, there are several sources of power to power the hydraulic system. First of all is the manual, which is in many light aircraft. The manual hydraulic pump provides pressure for wheel brakes or flap extension and retraction. So the manual source of power is like a hand pump or like a pedal, something like that. Okay. Then the next one is the engine driven. So usually the pumps are frequently mounted on the engine accessory gearbox, so that it's easy for the engine to drive the pump and activate the pump. The next one is the electric, which is powered by AC and DC motors. The next one is the pneumatic, which is powered by bleed air. Powered by the motors, so that it will produce the bleed air to activate the hydraulic pumps. Okay. So the next one is the power transfer unit, which allows the hydraulic pressure of one hydraulic system to drive a pump to pressurize the second hydraulic system without any transfer of hydraulic fluid. So it's like the first system will get the power, and then after that it will transfer the power to the second one without using much power from the power generator. Alright. So the last one is the ram air turbine, which is usually used in an emergency, so that when the aircraft is in emergency, the ram air turbine can be extended and into S3 to generate hydraulic pressure. So on the ground, when no electrical power is available, hydraulic power may be generated by hydraulic ground power unit through a ground connector located in the hydraulic bed. So for this type of aircraft, this one is the ATR type of aircraft. So the hydraulic bed is located here near the landing left landing gear. Alright, so yep, we proceed to the next one, which is so there are two types of basic hydraulic system, which is the open center hydraulic system and also the closed center hydraulic system. So the open center is where the fluid flow with no pressure in the system, so that the actuating mechanisms are in idle. So there's no movement, there's no pressure, the fluid just flow freely in that system. So the pump circulates the fluid from the reservoir through the selector valve and back to the reservoir. For the closed center hydraulic system, the fluid is under pressure whenever the power pump is operating. So usually, aircraft will have this closed center hydraulic system, because since it's already pressured, when, for example, in an emergency situation or when it's needed, there's a bit more pressure that can be added into the system, so that the main features we want to move can actually move in a short time. Okay. So we proceed with the components, basic components involved in hydraulic system in aircraft. Yeah, first of all, we have the reservoir. Then we have the filters. We'll have the return line, the accumulator, the actuator, which can be connected to whatever features we want. For example, the landing gear, we want it to be connected to flaps or spoilers. Okay, so this is the actuator. And then the next one is the selector valve, pressure relief valve, shut off valve, what is it again? The check valve, and also the most important one is the pump. Okay. next one, we will proceed for the components first. So like I mentioned before, there are several types of valves involved, but generally valves is function to control and regulate the flow of the fluid. So the first one we'll see the check valve. The check valve is function to flow the fluid in a direction only, so that if the fluid comes in through here and then if it wants to go reversely, this valve will block so that there is no reverse movement of the fluid. Okay. So the next one is the shut off valve, which used to cut off fluid flow during emergency. Okay, the next one is the pressure relief valve to reduce fluid pressure in particular line. So for example, if you want a high pressure of fluid to go out from here, so this one will be connected to the line. Okay. And then the next one, the last one is the selector valve, which you can use to change the direction of pressurized fluid by rotation. Okay, for example here, you want it to move to the right, so you can just rotate the valve so that the fluid will move to the right. Okay, so the next one is the reservoir. Reservoir will act as a tank which holds the hydraulic
Hafidah,
fluid. Oh yes,
I have a question.
okay.
How the valve
Sorry.
hello? Boleh dengar?
Boleh.
How the valves are controlled?
Okay, first of all, the valve will be controlled by using the control device by the cockpit lah. But we will see that later on. Because the function of the valves will be depends on what the pilot wants. If it wants it to move the plug, for example, then they will the valve will function accordingly to it because we have automation for that. We will check later in the yes sir.
On this slide,
Yes.
which one can be controlled?
The selector valve can be controlled.
Okay, and
For the shut off valve, it will be automatically, if I'm not mistaken, for emergency purpose.
no, that means these two valves can be controlled,
Yes, sir.
right? The other two, check valve and pressure relief valve, is a design of the valve. That means they are spring loaded. There's no control. You cannot control. It will function automatically as long to overcome the spring pressure, like the check valve. If there's no pressure on the other side, the spring will push the stopper to close the valve, to close the line, so no fluid can flow through. Also, same thing for the pressure relief valve. The spring will close if the excessive flow, excessive pressure, ada sikit salah your Hafidah, your diagram there lah.
Oh, yeah. Alright.
Your hole should be lower, a bit to the center. So the ball will be in front of the hole. So if the pressure is increasing, it will push the ball backwards and open the hole. So the pressure inside can release from the line, right?
Okay.
Yeah, because if you put like this, it's always there's no obstruction for the flow to go to the other side. Right.
Oh, yeah. Alright. Thank you for that. Okay. So,
any other question?
No question.
Okay, so I'll proceed to the next one, okay? So, alright, the reservoir, as I mentioned before, it will act as a tank which holds the hydraulic fluid, supply the hydraulic fluid and has written line for the fluid to come back to the reservoir. So, for example, this one is the normal line that the fluid will go out, and then after that, this one is the written line for the reservoir for the fluid to come back to the reservoir. Okay, so the next one is the pump, which is pressurize the hydraulic fluid. It can be engine driven or electrically operated. And sometimes aircraft also will provide hand pump just in case if the engine and electrical supply is unavailable. Okay, so the next one is the filter. The filter is used to remove any particles or impurities to prevent damage to the hydraulic system. So sometimes the filters will be installed on the supply line and also the return line so that it can capture the impurities, for example, the large particles in there to make sure that the fluid can flow very smoothly in the system. Okay. The next one is the actuator, which converts the hydraulic
Hello.
pressure. Oh yeah.
Hello, Hafidah. I have a question from the previous slide. For the pump, for the first point, it stated that to pressurize the hydraulic fluid. So, what is the meaning by hydraulic fluid? What types of fluid is using in this system?
Hydraulic fluid is the fluid that can be used in the system that is incompressible because we want to make sure that the force that we are putting from the, for example, the hand pump is received by the actuator at the end of the system so that it can actuate and generate movement for whatever features we want to move, for example, the brake, okay? So, what type of
So,
the
what types of fluid?
So what types of fluid we will touch later on, I'll show you. But for now, I'll tell you that sometimes they will use oil or synthetic. It can be mineral. It can be also the synthetic matte fluid. Okay.
Oh, okay. Thank
Alright.
you.
No problem. So I proceed.
Hai Hafidah, sorry, boleh kah?
Oh, boleh boleh.
Okay. For the reservoir, is it always full of hydraulic fluid?
It's not really full. Actually, dekat reservoir tu dia ada dia punya level. Sama ada dia half, dia full atau dia just empty. So that you can check whether it's full or not. But it depends on the requirement if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, okay, okay. So normal operation usually not full lah.
Yeah, sebab you need that spacer, right?
Oh, okay, okay,
For the pressure.
okay.
Alright. Okay, anything else? Yeah, let's proceed, okay? For the actuator, it can convert the hydraulic pressure into mechanical action. So it can be connected to blood control surfaces, for example, the flaps, the slabs, the spoilers, the landing gears, brakes, nose, wheel steering, okay? So these are the one yang akan connected to those features lah yang kita nak gerakkan at the end of the system. So for the accumulator, this is the last pressure source for emergency if pump fails. It usually holds pressurized hydraulic fluid and provides fluid at constant pressure to the actuator during high demand and low pressure. So here's the properties of the fluid. The fluid we need for the hydraulic system.
Tak boleh dengar. Anybody can hear except me, is it?
Cannot
Same
hear.
as saya.
I cannot hear.
Cannot hear.
Yes, sir.
Maybe
Cakap
Hafidah
lah.
disconnected.
Hello, hi sir. Hello.
Hello, hello.
Hello, hi.
I had
Hello.
a little bit of technical problems here. My laptop is suddenly turned off, so it's gonna take a bit of time. Is it okay?
Yeah. The rest other question that the other question, you guys very clear.
So far for me, no questions.
So far, no questions.
Sure, no question.
I'm really sorry for the inconvenience. My laptop just suddenly turned off.
Okay. While waiting, okay. What type of farm you guys think will be to generate for the motor farm?
I'm sorry, sir?
I'm asking the rest.
Oh, okay.
Yep. What type of farm
Pump
for
used in
this
the
hydraulic?
hydraulic.
Yeah.
Is it
The,
centrifugal pump?
okay. What else of the pump? Others? Any idea?
Um, maybe a piston pump.
Evelyn? Nazrul, what type of pump? Evelyn, what type of pump? You all study design kan, manufacture, engineering.
Uh, piston pump.
Nazrul?
Hmm.
Hafidah, you not yet ready? Nazrul, what type of pump? Studying engineering.
Not yet, sir. It's restarting.
Uh, the piston pumps.
Piston pump. Hafidah, you have any slide for this? What type of hydraulic pump is used?
I didn't mention in the slide which type of pump you are using, but I'm just put the general working principle of how it's going to function from the reservoir to the actuator and back to the reservoir.
Yeah. This is my question to all because you guys are studying engineering. We are going to generate 3000 psi of pressure for the hydraulic. What type of pump is the best? Right?
Okay.
This one later after that you have to find out and detail why we are using this type of pump, what type of pump. Okay, so for your basic knowledge.
Okay.
Everybody know pump is pump, right? But I want to know which type of pump. Also for the filter, why we have two filter, one for the pressure, one for the return. Right? Evelyn, you ask. What do you guys think? Evelyn? No. Ryan?
No, sir.
Yeah. Can hear not just now?
The question, sir.
Why there's two filter, one for the pressure line, one from the return line? Yeah, why there's two filter? Yeah, one for the pressure line, one for the return line. Ryan?
For the return line, is it to filter if maybe there are some debris or foreign object broken from the components in the
All right,
system?
that's good. Then why we need a filter on the pressure line?
Is it maybe in case of the fluid freeze?
Filter doesn't control freeze line.
Oh, okay.
Hafidah, still not yet?
Yes, sir.
Belum lagi?
Oh, belum. Masih restart ke?
Masih restart lah.
Ya.
Nazrul, how's your ice and rain protection? Have you update?
Sorry, sir. Since the presentation is sudden, my slide still not have enough information regarding the parts you asked.
Okay. Slide. Okay. Shahidah,
Yes, sir.
okay, you give me one component that hydraulic is used for
One component.
one system. Nah. What is hydraulic used for the aircraft? What is hydraulic used for? To move what?
To move the landing gear,
Landing gear.
flaps, and racks.
Okay. Landing gear, how you move the landing gear?
Um, by transmitting force from one point to another.
What does the hydraulic do to the landing gear? Anybody can help her? Nazrul, you should be expert in this, in your flying simulator. After takeoff, what we do to the landing gear?
We After takeoff, the landing gear will what we call what
Flying
pull up
simulator.
pull up.
Huh? Technical term for the landing gear to go up and down. Anybody?
Retracted and extended.
Yes. To retract and extend landing gear. That's what normally we say. Right. Okay, Ryan, other component that use hydraulic in aircraft besides landing gear and the flags,
Spoilers.
spoilers. Okay. Evelyn, another one? Evelyn? Evelyn?
Hello?
Yeah.
Hello?
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 Yeah. Twice other component use hydraulic.
I only remember the slab, landing gear.
What do you think? Ada banyak tu. On the first slide, dia sudah bagi tahu. You guys tidak nampak. Nazrul? What are the component used landing gear system? Okay. Nazrul,
Not sure, sir.
how can you be not sure? Then guess, huh? You orang ada dengar ke? Or I want to start the class here better. Kalau online, you guys have to listen carefully lah. If you're not sure, then ask the question. Right?
Okay, sir.
Shaida? Any other thing?
Maybe the brake.
Yeah, definitely the brakes. Ryan?
Beside that, hydraulic can also be used to move the slats, the elevator, rather.
Yeah, the flight control. Right. Okay, we are back.
Okay, I'm sorry for the delay. Oh, everyone can hear me, right?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay, so we stopped just now at the fluid properties. So for the properties of the fluid, we will require the fluid that has high boiling point and also low freezing point. Wait, this is the wrong slide. I just- Um, oh my god. Okay, I'm sorry. I didn't have backup for the previous slide, so this one is the old slide I have. Let's just proceed makan. Okay, so how is the hydraulic system functioning? First of all, it will require the Pascal law of conservation energy by converting hydraulic power to mechanical. So it will transmit force from one point to another in the system. For example, this one is the force we send from the, for example, the hand pump. So this one will go to the actuator. Okay, so the pressurized fluid upon every section of vessel will send the same force from F1 to F2. So the hydraulic system can be activated by flight control devices. So once it's activated, the pump will start operating. Then the actuator will be moved towards the device that needs to be moved by creating pressure on it and its surrounding. Okay, so this is the working principle. First of all, the fluid will flow from the reservoir to the pump, and then it will be pressurized and forced to the system through check valve. Okay, so the fluid will go to the selector valve, which control the direction of the fluid to the actuating cylinder. So then the fluid will go into the actuating cylinder. So the fluid from the other side of the actuating cylinder that is originally staying there will be pushed outside so that it will move out and return back to the reservoir by passing through the filter. So this is how generally it's functioning now. So the actuating cylinder will be connected to features to the component of the aircraft that we want to move, for example, the flaps. Okay, so this is the general working principle. I think everyone can understand because it's very simple. Okay, so what is the pros and contra? So the
Hi.
pros.
Before that,
Oh yes, sir.
where is the pressure filter?
Pressure. Which one, sir?
The filter, pressure line
Oh.
filter.
Yeah, lah.
Where's the location?
Supposedly it's here. Here, supposedly, and after the this one is the filter. After the actuating cylinder, when the fluid is
There
going.
is return filter. I want the pressure filter.
Oh. Yeah, it didn't include in the picture. I'm sorry, sir. I didn't check it.
Because I just now I asked the question why we return filter. Ryan already explained in case any breakdown of the component.
Yeah.
And we don't want it to go back to the reservoir. Alright. Where is the pressure filter location? I want to see. And what is the function?
Oh, okay, sir.
I might continue first.
I think this is the last slide for the pros and contra. The pros is that the hydraulic system is easy to control and give accurate results because for the suitable hydraulic fluid, it can transmit the force from the pump to the required features of the aircraft component. The same force it receives from the pump. Okay, and then it's easy to check for any leakage in the system. It has automatic lubrication system and protect from corrosion. It does not ignite sparks any stuff in flight because usually we'll use the fluid that is very suitable so that, for example, like just now I mentioned the fluid properties, it has high boiling point so that it's not easily transformed from liquid to gas. So there is no high pressure of gas in there, so there's no spark and explosion happen in there. Okay. So lastly, it's easy to repair and also maintain. But hydraulic system also has its own disadvantages. For example, if inappropriate fluid utilization might damage the components of the system. Leakage of fluids may cause ignition of fire hazard, and also the contamination or impurities may affect the performance and even damage the system. So I think that is all for me. I just have a few pictures of how the components of the hydraulic system in ATR aircraft, just in case we are going to go see, right? So for the ATR system, we have two systems, which is the blue and green system. Actually, it's just the same hydraulic fluid. There's no blue fluid or green fluid. It's just the STEM fluid. But we separate the system just to separate the function. For example, the blue system will function the nose wheel steering, the propeller brake, the flaps and spoilers. Okay. So this one are the pumps connected to the tank just now. This one is the accumulator. So this one is the propeller brake. Propeller brake is located at the propeller of the aircraft. So that, for example, if the aircraft is already landed and then they want to stop the propeller from rotating, so they use the propeller brake to stop the propeller lah. Okay. So this one is for the flap.
Cannot hear anything.
Computer off again.
Maybe.
Actually, she should put this one to explain. You see, this is the flow of everything here. The check valve, the accumulator, what system used for. You see the nose wheel system there, right? This is a better diagram to show how the thing works, right?
Again, sir, I'm sorry, my laptop is turning off again. I'm really sorry for the inconvenience. But that's the additional information I'm going to put in the slides. Actually, just the simple pictures of how the ATR hydraulic system looks like. And there's nothing much on that after that. I think that's all from me, Sir President.
Yeah. I was just telling them this is a better slide than what you explained earlier. You can normally we use one schematic to explain all the function, so you don't have to keep on repeat. There's too many slides. So from one diagram, I'm trying to get this diagram. I think a lot of from Google, there's a lot of diagram that you can choose to explain. Anybody have any question?
Hello?
Hello.
Hello? Boleh dengar tak?
Boleh dengar.
Hello?
Right?
Boleh.
Yang actuating cylinder, is it controlled or working automatically?
Okay, when you activate the hydraulic system, right, you will activate the pump. So the pump will push the fluid to flow into the actuating cylinder. So basically, automatic lah when the system is already activated.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Wait a I'm trying to share the slide again.
Any other
Hafidah,
question?
I have
Oh yeah.
Right.
I have question. So if the main landing gear and nose landing gear of the aircraft failed to extend, is it because the hydraulic system is damaged?
Okay, first of all, I haven't read to that extent, but most probably the hydraulic system failed to function. That's why it's not retracted or extended properly. Because if you see, the hydraulic system is actually controlling the movement of this instrument. So if the hydraulic system fails, means that the instruments cannot function properly.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
All right.
Nazrul, what's your question again?
My question is, if the main landing gear and nose landing gear of the aircraft fail to extend, is it because the hydraulic system is damaged?
Hydraulic system is damaged. What will cause the hydraulic system to be damaged? That's my next question. Yeah, lah. I think the basic is there. The basic component is there. What do you guys think that can cause hydraulic system failure? We call it failure, like not damage. Right?
Maybe
That
pump
means we
failure.
don't get there's pump failure. Okay. So all the aircraft, how many pumps are there? There will be minimum of 4 pumps. You see the diagram Hafidah just put on. How many pumps are there?
We have the blue pump, the green pump, auxiliary pump.
Yep.
So
We have 3 pumps.
3 pumps. Yeah.
Yep. So Nazrul, what's your question? Total failure of 3 pumps.
I mean, if the landing gear fail to extend, so in the hydraulic system, which one will be also a failure? Yeah.
Yeah, lah. How many pumps are there? All 3 pumps fail. Worst case scenario.
Yeah.
All 3 pumps fail.
Yeah.
Then you pull the emergency landing gear cable to unlock the thing. The landing gear will fall down by gravity.
Oh.
Yeah. I'm waiting for your spoiler and the ice and rain protection. Alright. After
Okay,
that,
sir.
you do the landing gear.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. So how the landing gear retract and extend. Okay. This is a very good diagram. That means from one reservoir, the hydraulic fluid is fed to 2 systems. One is the blue system, one is the green system, which have a different pump, right? As a backup, the blue side also fed to a auxiliary pump. That means from the reservoir, it also fed to the auxiliary pump, which is using a DC power. That means with battery power only, it can operate already. You don't need AC power, which is on top there. You see blue from AC power, number 1. Green is AC bus, number 2. Okay, so you will separate the blue system will go to nose wing steering. Steering is powered by hydraulic. Right? All the aircraft steering will be powered by hydraulic because it's very heavy. The weight of the aircraft operating on the steering, the nose will be very high. You need a very high pressure to move the nose gear. Okay. Also the flaps. You see, here the flight control is not mentioned because for ATR, the flight control is using cable. Unlike all the big aircraft, large aircraft, they will use hydraulic because the surface area is very big. So they will use hydraulic power to move the aileron, the rudder, and the elevators. Right. On the other side, which is the green system, we use for landing gear, retraction, and extension. Also, we use for normal brake. For this, you see the pump. If the normal brake fails, you can see the blue pump also supply a emergency emergency and parking brake system. So it's a different control. Right? And the three things there are in case one of the pump fail, you see the middle line there, the crossfit. Ada tengok tak?
This one.
Yeah. So the crossfit, in case of failure, let's say blue pump fail, green pump is giving all the hydraulic pressure. You open the crossfit, it will affect to the system also. That means one pump will affect to other system. Right? Any question so far?
So, about the CrossFit, sir,
Yep.
is it controlled in the cockpit?
Yep.
Oh, okay, sir.
You see all the valve that is open and closed valve will be controlled from the cockpit. Except the check valve. And the pressure relief valve is automatic design on the valve. That's why you guys have to check on the valve. Okay. Hafidah, go to the first slide.
First, like, yes, sir. No. Like, this one.
Yep. There's another one slide earlier, kan?
The content.
Oh, the content. Okay. Never mind. The next slide.
I think the next one is the substance forward.
Okay, this is a source of power that you get. Normally, I don't expect you to learn this because normally you give a diagram, just give a simple diagram, explain what is on the diagram, right? Like manual, how you do it manually using a hand pump,
Yeah.
right? But you're not showing the hand pump.
Like in this diagram, I put the hand pump, but
Yes.
there's no filter here. Yeah.
How it looks like on the aircraft.
Hand pump. Is it
Yeah.
the same as the pedals? Because sometimes they
No.
use the pedal to control, right? No.
No.
Okay.
Later on, you go to a Twin Otter. Twin Otter have a hand pump. Yeah, because Twin Otter only have one electrical and hydraulic pump. So if that fail, the pilot had to use a hand pump. He will install a rod to the pump, and then they have to push a pump. No? The co-pilot have to do it while the captain land the aircraft. Right? It should be. I think Evelyn give you all the kan for the twin otter.
The aircraft maintenance too.
Yep.
Oh yeah, very different for
Yeah.
both ATR dengan
Yeah, the twin otter one.
yeah, very different.
And but you don't use it. Yeah. Because it gives you, if you, instead of you doing this, you just go for one type of aircraft, give it, present it, simple thing, right? It's all there already, and all the description is there. You can use this and explain. And in case other don't understand, then we easy to let you guys. You guys can read through the description and operation for the twin otter. Right? Go back to the slide, the second one, the third one. Yeah. Engine driven, of course, is a driven pump by the engine. Normally for ATR we don't have an engine driven pump. For bigger aircraft, yes, like the 73 Airbus above. ATR is using the electrical pump. Right? And here is a funny thing on the pneumatic. Right? So I also don't know. I never seen this pneumatic pump before. So maybe you can show if you try to put inside here.
Yeah.
And then this power transfer unit. I'm surprised nobody asked this thing. So anybody understand this power transfer unit? Since just now nobody asked, so I assume you guys know, right? Okay. So this is a typical for big aircraft, the hydraulic power transfer unit, right? If you're using, this is also switch on, is using one side of the hydraulic pressure. That means let's say you go blue for the, since you know blue and green system. If green system fail, there's a power transfer unit, which is also a pump, right? The blue side will drive this pump. You can own this pump using the pressure from the blue system to drive the pump. And from there, you can energize the blue system and the green system, right? So you're using the hydraulic power to drive a pump, right? Ram air turbine. Okay, maybe it's just giving you the electrical power for the DC pump. Okay, next. Okay, next. See here you have a filter.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what's the function of this filter?
This filter is to filter the fluid that comes from the reservoir because we are not sure whether the fluid from here is actually clean or not, right? Because sometimes we replace the fluid in there. So just in case there are some like foreign particles going through here, and to prevent that the impurities to block the line.
Then why is it not after the reservoir? Why is it must after the pump?
Oh, I'm not sure about that. I'll look into it after this.
So what's the return filter? Do
I'm sorry, sir.
return filter. What's the function?
Return filter, just in case if the system has like some corrosive particles in there. So when it goes back here, it will trap the impurities so that only the fluid can go into the reservoir to make sure that the fluid here is still clean lah.
Okay. So now explain why the filter is after the pump. Same concept kan?
Oh, so after the pump, maybe here they can get the impurities also from the pump.
It's not
Is it like that?
impurities. Is impurities is one. In case of pump failure
Okay.
or your pump damage, so all the debris will go into your pipeline and damage all the other the actuator, the selector valve, and all the valve. So we don't want that.
Okay, sir, I understand.
Right. So the impurities normally when you refill the hydraulic system, there will be a strainer on the reservoir itself also. Right. Okay, next. Okay. This is a good diagram except the pressure relief.
Yeah, this one.
Right. All right. Okay. Before we go there, okay, anybody can tell me how we measure the filter? This means there's a filter is made of mesh, right? So I want to buy a filter that more can prevent more debris. Or what is the measurement there? If I want to buy a better one. Anybody? Nobody from other filter.
Sir?
Nobody at home go filter. Water
Not for
filter
me, sir.
ya. Huh? Because now we are not talking on the system. We're talking on the design and how, if you want a better one, what is the design? Like the hydraulic pump, what type of pump? Right? Like what Shahida asked is what type of fluid? Is it? Yeah, that type of thing. So that is a good question if she asks that, what type of fluid? Is it a normal any fluid like water? Why water cannot? It's
No.
also a fluid. Right? But water freeze very fast. If you fly too high in the air, you fly more than 20,000 feet, its temperature is less than 20 degrees, minus 20 degrees. So water will freeze already, right? So it must have very low. That's now the criteria of the hydraulic pump you explained already. Okay, Faida. And also hydraulic is very hot when pressurized. So it must sustain a very high flash point. So you won't catch fire. Mm. All right. So Hafidah, you have to update what is the hydraulic pump, what type of pump is best to give you the highest high, like 3000 psi. I don't think piston can give it that high. And also the filter, I want to know how's the measurement. If I want to buy a filter, what is the measurement? Next slide. I was surprised this one nobody asked on the accumulator. Nazrul, you're very keen on the landing gear. What is the accumulator do? Nazrul,
Yeah.
what does accumulator do?
Well, it holds pressurized hydraulic fluid.
For what purpose? We already have hydraulic pressure. Why you want to hold hydraulic fluid? The diagram, and we have to pressurize half air, half is fluid by the system. Right. Because this one is mainly used for the landing gear system, right? Landing gear and brake system. Very seldom we have a hygrometer for the whole system. We mainly use for the brake accumulator. That must have all the brake must have this accumulator to the brake line. Hafidah?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. What is accumulator?
Usually they will use the accumulator when during emergency, just in case if the pump fails. The air here is used to pressurize the fluid here so that it can increase the pressure in the system to actuate the component we want to move, especially like you said just now, is the landing gear, right? So I think that's how it functions.
Other than that?
I'm not sure, sir. That's the only thing.
So you need to read up on this accumulator. It's a very good function. So Nazrul, I already give you you will be doing landing gear again.
Yeah.
Yeah. So landing gear normally you just tell how the landing gear extend, retract, what are the preventive item or positive to give it a positive lock. Other than that, on the landing gear there will be brakes. Right? Maybe brakes are given to this Evelyn. Right? Evelyn?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, you will do the brakes.
Okay, sir.
Brake system. Right. Any other question? I mean, this is only we touching the surface. Right? Try to read through and see what you can ask. You guys are very quiet. Right.
Tadi ada Ryan tanya tadi kan about the fluid, whether it's full or not in the tank.
Yeah.
So from here, dia ada macam level for the fluid, right? So this fluid can actually be worn out like it's evaporated, so that you need to fill in again the fluid.
Ryan,
Yes, sir.
I ask you one question. Right.
Okay.
Let's say you buy a water full of water, right?
Okay.
We put in, when we heated it up, what will happen?
A bottle full of water when we heat
Yeah,
it up.
if there's no gap in between, right?
The
So
water
we,
will overflow.
yeah, lah, any fluid is water. If you move the fluid very, you fill up to maximum, if we put pressure, what will happen?
Uh, in severe case, the bottle may be explode.
Yeah. Right? So we must have a gap of hydraulic. At the flow of fluid, there must be a gap in case we got a boiling effect. Gas, the fluid will expand when it's hot. Right? We have the reservoir also have a relief valve to relieve excessive pressure. Right? The cap there. So normally we don't fill it to full in case of this thing happen. Right?
Oh, okay, sir.
Yeah. Okay.
Right.
There's always a relief valve at the filler cap there. Right.
Sir, so the properties of the hydraulic fluid just now, it needs to be high boiling point. Besides, to prevent from flame, is it also to prevent from excessive thermal expansion?
Yep.
Oh, okay, okay.
Because fluid, definitely you put a bit, you will expand a bit one. Right. So we don't fill it to maximum. Another thing is for the big aircraft, they would like to give a head pressure inside the reservoir. This means you will try to push the reservoir down and flow to the pump. Right? It's just like what you mentioned is on the fuel system. This means we give a head pressure. It's always pressurized a bit for your surge tank and vent tank there.
Oh, yes, sir.
Yep. So fluid, definitely they have a they would like to give a head pressure. So at least it go one direction. Right. All right.
Oh, okay, sir.
Next, anything else? Okay. Next week, who?
It's supposed to be
Nazul.
Nazrul.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Monday. You got a lot of things here now. You got ice and rain protection,
And
your
landing
landing
gear.
gear.
Yeah.
So we have to accommodate one day for you to explain everything. Let's see what Monday. Monday is 30th. Okay. Okay, Monday can we do the spoiler? Not the spoiler, the what, ice and rain protection, Nazru.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Okay, after that then only we do we on 31st is public holiday. On the first, then we go back to Ryan, right?
Oh, okay.
You explain the engine and then continue by Shahida for the engine start. Right?
So Monday Nazrul,
Okay, sir.
Tuesday we got holiday, then we start engine on Wednesday, sir.
Yep.
Oh, okay, sir.
Yep. Okay. Okay, Hafidah.
Yes, sir.
What I wanted to do. Okay, give oil system, engine oil system.
Engine oil system.
Yeah, the normal easy one, right?
The basic
Like I say,
one.
yeah, it's not basic that you can take one aircraft like this. I use the screen here is very basic. From here, I can see a lot of things already, right? Basic construction, everything, and except then you explain the basic theory how the system go, right? Just like your basic pump on the third slide there. There is a very good basic pump on the third slide. And the next one. Yeah, this one. From the reservoir, go to the pump, go to the filter, go to the check valve, then shut off valve, relief, selector, go to actuator. So actuator can be anything, landing gear actuator, your steering actuator, your what steering flaps, flight controls, all these things will be actuator, right? Yeah. So like this type is a double acting actuator because the the hydraulic go to both sides. There will be a single acting actuator. Like one side is a spring, one side is a hydraulic pressure. So it's a single acting actuator. Right?
Right.
Mm. So you don't have to explain too much on the thing. What I want is a basic, like actuator, what type of actuator. Yeah. Pump, what type of pump. Right? You see. Like the function, check valve, what do check valve do? Right? All these things, short, filter do. That's a simple one. Because the main thing for you guys is to do a simple one first. You don't straight away go into details on all the pneumatic line, PTO, all these things. Right?
Right.
The main thing is to get the basic, the fundamental basic of the construction. This is very basic and is enough to explain already. Okay? So you guys, when you guys do things, just do a basic one. The more complicated thing you do, the more I ask,
Okay, sir.
right? And then you guys have to explain. Okay?
Okay, sir.
Okay, sir.
Okay, how about the thing that I asked you guys to add in one? What happened? Nobody bring up. When are we going to give the timeline? Are you guys doing it?
Uh,
What's it?
about what, sir?
Like Ryan and like Ryan, I asked you to do on the refueling. What is the refueling tank thing, kan? What is
Oh,
the precaution?
oh,
Yeah. I mean, we go through one round already. I can't remember what I give already. You guys write down or not?
Ada.
yeah,
Ah,
we write down.
Yeah, sir.
yeah. So try to bring out and when I should do at least for the benefit of others. Then the other can understand also. If not, I can explain. Okay. If not, later on you guys come and do assignment, ask me to sign. I will, especially Aaron, he will ask a lot of things. Huh? If I'm not
Okay,
around.
sir.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. Yeah. His favorite question is during refueling, what is the precaution? And Ryan,
Oh, okay,
what
sir.
did the Bowser do? Are they doing the grounding? What must be done first? What are other precautions? Like Evelyn, what is the precaution for high HF? Favorite question, this one. Mm-hmm. Shahida, I can't remember already. What is your subject?
Uh, Last week about exterior lights and this week about electrical system.
Electrical system.
Yeah.
So,
I didn't include the GPU in the
mm,
slide.
yeah, okay.
Yeah.
It's good. This is additional thing that what is happening, right? Is a must there. So I ask you guys to read, to give the precaution, right? Is I think all the precaution is inside the MM, right? Ian
Oh,
and Evelyn,
okay,
the
sir.
precaution for refueling is all inside the MM, right? Refueling will be under chapter 12, right?
Oh, okay.
Evelyn, yours one will be under chapter communication 23 on the HF for other precaution, right? So
Yes,
it
sir.
depends on your chapter. When you guys ask me to sign your assessment or errand, please put in your ATA chapter number. Like Hafidah, what is your chapter number? This one, hydraulic.
For hydraulic system, hydraulic
Yeah,
39 if I'm not mistaken.
yeah. So the title will be ATA chapter 29 hydraulic system, right? Like this one is a must for your side lah. At least you know what is the chapter talking about. And a quick reference if you want to look into any MM or search any, you search according to the aircraft, right? Okay. So
Okay, sir.
tomorrow I won't be free. Nazrul, Monday, the whole day is yours, huh?
Yes,
Right.
sir. So means Monday I will explain about the ice and rail protection and also the landing gear, sir.
Yep, if you are ready. Mm. Mm. Okay, oh, you got 3 days, should be ready then. Mm.
Yes, sir.
Mm. Okay.
What time we will start, sir, on Monday?
2:30, yeah. Mm. Yeah,
Okay.
because normally 3 o'clock, you see, 2:30 we do until 4 o'clock, 1.5 hours. Right? We study at 2:30 in case I got anything, then I'll let you guys know early.
Okay, sir.
Right?
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, sir.
Okay, sir.
Sir,
Yeah. Yep. Go
Yes,
ahead.
sorry,
sir.
sir. Regarding the assignments you mentioned just now, is it about our logbook?
I think whatever you guys read, you guys will enter inside the logbook, kan?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we have to sign, kan?
Yeah.
Yeah. So whatever you guys written, we make sure you guys know the things, huh?
Mm,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
Sir, I have a question regarding that. Because last
Yep.
time you given us the aircraft maintenance program, right? So is it okay if we put the points in there because somehow it's confidential, right?
You can put in the aircraft maintenance program. What is it talking about? It's not confidential.
Oh, okay.
Because this is the program, like the common program, lah, right? Like I don't know how many. What is EMA check? Anybody read?
I just remember the stay over checks.
Yeah. When do we do stay over check?
It's like 2 days. We did every 2 days, but according to Mr. Aaron, he said sometimes they do it daily
Yeah, we
to make sure
normally
that
it's a daily, right?
yeah.
Then what are other checks?
How do you expect?
Uh,
Stay
How
over
about
weekly check.
yeah, this is a basic program that okay on when the aircraft is there. What do we check? That means aircraft come, no need to check anything, but yes, we have a program that we do a daily stay-over check, a weekly check, which is more than what we do on the daily stay-over check. After that, there will be a check for ATR. Then there will be A1, A2, A3, A4, C check, D check. I think author, yes, we have a stay-over check. We have a weekly check. On top of that, if we going for the hanger check, best maintenance check, is called a MR check. What is a MR check? When do we do MR check? Right. So this is type of program. Right. If you can tell us what, if you read this, you should able to give us what type of check. Right. And some of the abbreviation inside the AMP is good, like what is repair, what is corrosion, what is preventive. All these it was set up. What is delamination? What is all the things had to be specified correctly. Right? So we can refer to that. And when we say damage, what type of damage? And Nazru, what type of damage? Is it failure? Is it leaking? Is it not functioning or intermittent? All these things we take into account. We must be very precise what we talk about. It's not like general, it's broke, it's damaged. Okay. Functionally damaged, operationally damaged, or physically damaged. There's so many things, right? Okay, you can write, but at least read through, right? What are the basic things? You can write what you read and put there. Okay, Hafidah? Yeah.
Alright.
Okay, sir.
This is a good program. It's part of the program that you go to any, if you want to do you want to design something or machine or what, there must be a program when you're going to check your pipeline for crack, when you're going to check your pump, when you're going to service your your hydraulic fluid, or whatever you design. How many times a day you must check your electrical switch for functional test. All these things is good, right? It's just an example for you guys. Okay.
Alright, sir.
Okay,
Thank
sir.
you.
Okay, sir.
Oh, Monday 2:30. Be active a bit. If not, I'll call you guys all back. Every time I ask question.
Okay, sir.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Let's